All right, hi guys, it's Tanya here. I am here to do another art journal page. And I have been playing with Dylusions, these new Dylusions stamps and stencils for several pages. So I'm going to show you a technique on how to do it, and then I'm going to show you all of the pages that I've played with. So these are like her quilting, new quilting stamps that she's come up with. So these are this one is a head start, so they have two large ones, two medium size. This one has two large ones, and then each of these pieces fit these large hexagons. Okay, so those are hexagons, right? So this is like a 2-inch edge. This fits the 2-inch edge, right? So these are different pieces that fit into that. So this is called Quilt As You Go. She has, this is the medium size, so she has, right, more of her medium stamps, and then other shapes that fit, and then the smaller stamps here. So I think some of these little stamps fit over here, but they all kind of piece together like a quilt. Okay, so she also has a stencil set. So this is the larger one. So this stencil fits that larger stamp. So they're interactive. You could use them with any of her stamps and stencils and such. Okay, so this big stamp fits into that stencil here. So what I'm going to do is create a background. So it's playing with pattern, right? So I did a video before about pattern play and how it kind of gets you, I guess, thinking about background without overthinking it. So these patterns allow for that. So I'll show you the technique of creating a background using her stencils, her stamps. I've chosen some color palettes here and some extra stencils. So I'll show you a trick for the stencils to put in the pattern there. Then we'll take, I'll probably do some collage or take some of a title or something to do with it. So this is really just creating that background. Once you create the background, there's a gajillion things that you can do with it. Okay, so we're going to create a background here using this stencil. Okay, so this stencil is going to be my main resource, and these stamps are going to be my main resource for my background. Okay, so I'm going to use these big stamps here, and I might use some of these here too, but I'm going to use some of these big stamps as we build the pattern, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I'm also using, so these are just some stencils I picked to add to that, so I'll set those aside. I'm also going to use these blending tools. So these are just the regular foam. I have 4 of them because it's easier, because I have 4, I have a lot. So if you only have one of these blending tools, you can easily just interchange these toppers. This is the old foams. I have not yet used the domed foams. I do have them, but I have, you know, a gajillion of these, so I'm just going to use them. They work. I have, so those I'll be using. The paints that I will be using, I've picked out these paint colors. We have Pure Sunshine, Tangerine Dream, and Peony Blush. So that's going to be my background for the shapes. And I added black because black always makes things pop, right? So I'm going to add some black to some of the patterns. And I'm going to use Archival Ink, and with that I will use a stamping block. Here I will use a stamping block. I will also use this Make Art Station. You've seen me use this before. It's a metal, it's a metallic magnetic background that Wendy Vecchi has, where you put magnets on them to hold your art to use. But I find it's also very useful because it's a hard surface. The page that I'm going to use in my book is, there's some space here, and if I try to stamp something on it, it's going to bend and it won't give me a very good stamp background. So I'm going to use this as kind of that hard background to get a good image. Okay, and it's not that big of a deal if it's not a big image or a good image, because I can draw it in, but just to make life easier, I'm going to use that as well. Okay, Now my craft mat, my handy dandy craft mat here. So let's get to it. Okay, so I'm going to start fairly easy, and really am only going to use this shape to add my paints to. If you're interested in watching the expert Diane Reevely do these, she has 2 amazing classes on quilting specifically, like Quilting 101, Quilting 102, using these same products. If you go to her Etsy shop, I'll add a link here, and then I'll also link it down below for her Etsy shop, because I for sure go take her classes. They're reasonably priced. Diane is amazing. So please, you want to learn from the expert and all of her techniques, she is definitely the person to go to. But thanks for watching me, because we're just gonna make it a little fun. So I'm going to start with these paint colors, and I'm going to start with a simple pattern. Okay, I'm not going to get too complicated, because too complicated makes Tanya think too much, and I don't want to think too much. So I'm going to start with this kind of shape I want to be here, but I know that I want that to be a stamp. Okay, so I know I want it to be a stamped image. I really like these 2 stamps, the flowery stamps. Okay, so I'm going to add this this stamp kind of right where I have it here. I don't need the mask to do that. I just need my stamping platform. And it's going to, if you want to measure it and you want to make it, you know, equally equal, you can, but I'm not going to, because I don't measuring. I cannot. That's too complicated. Another thing with these stamps is when you ink up this stamp, you'll notice that there's a lip here. So here, this is the line that will be stamped, but some of them may be cut a little bit different. So if you're matching these up to shapes, just take note of how much space that you're going to have here, right? So this line is a little bit has a little bit more space. If you stamp these and you ink them and they're not perfect, it's okay, right? Oops, oh well, in the words of Dina. There's an easy way to kind of fix that, and the lineup police are not going to come find you. So I'm going to ink that. I'm going to stand up to make sure I get a good image, and I'm going to just right there. Looks pretty good. I like Dylusions stamping block, because she has a ruler. It kind of helps you line things up, and it's big enough to hold her stamps. Okay, so there's the first stamp. I'll wipe that off. Okay, so now that's my first image, and I want to just, so in my background, I'm only going to use, I'm going to link up these hexagons, okay? I'm not going to use the patterns quite yet, because I want it to be fairly simple. This is going to be my pattern. I may use the other stamp, so it's going to be black, and then these pinks and yellows. So I'm going to kind of follow the same pattern over and over again. So it's going to be a little more appealing to your eye. It's okay if you want to go crazy, because all of these, so you can see in this stencil, all of these edges will fit. So if I wanted to create kind of a flower around that with this shape, I could. If I wanted to turn it around, I could do that. If I want to do a triangle, I could do that as well. But for today, I am going to stick with the hexagon. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of paint on my mat here. So a little bit goes a long way. You can always add more. Sometimes, you know, when you put stencils, if you have too much paint on your blending tool, it'll smush underneath these stencils. These stencils are pretty big, so you want to kind of hold it down enough. And the trick is to go outside in. So if I'm pushing the paint this way, it's going to go under that stencil and kind of make an edge. It's okay if it does that, because we can always go back with a pen or another paint or something and fix it. But remember that a little bit goes a long way, and you can always add more paint. So I'm going to take my blending tool, and this is the trick for it. So if you take a little bit on your brush, so not all the paint, and you kind of add that paint to your foam, okay? So you're going to blend that in so that you get kind of an even distribution on your foam. Line up this stencil, and then again, go from the outside in. So I'm going to, right, I don't have a lot of paint on my blending tool, and you can see, right, I'm running out of paint. That's okay, because I can go get more paint, line that up, color that in. Okay, I did not put any gesso or anything on this page. So Diane's journal, this is a Diane creative journal in her larger size. I think it's a 9x12 journal. Okay, so there's my pink hexagon. Okay, so you can see I didn't quite line that up perfectly. That's okay. I got some paint here. That's okay. That's all right. I'm gonna cover it anyway. Okay, so this is pink. I have two other colors, right? So I'm gonna do, let's say, the darker orange. So I'm gonna put yellow, this Pure Sunshine here, and I'll do the Tangerine Dream here. So then that means this area is going to be the pink. Okay. So same thing. I probably need some more paint. Add a little of my brush, line that up, and add your color. This too is a exercise in patience. Some of you know I'm not exactly patient. I like to just slap stuff down, make a color, or add some color. So I think just take your time. Take your time and add color. Think about it, because there's 1,000 things that you could do. All right, so this one's going to be that lighter yellow and then the darker orange, okay? Some of these colors are more transparent than the others. So I know this yellow, the sunshine, Pure Sunshine is going to be a little more transparent. Okay, but that is, so there's the orange or sunshine. Here's the sunshine. So pink, it's going to go over here. Okay. colors, you can add some of these textures on top, okay? So I can add pink. So if I want these squares, I can go use the stencil and add the squares here. I can also do this stripey thing. So if I wanted to add kind of two diagonals, like I could use this one, there's a blank one over there too. If I want to use this, so this is a stripe that kind of would go in there and that would change the shape of what this is. And you could do it like opposite sides. You could do it like a hexagon. That would be kind of cool. You could use the triangle. So the triangle, the size, right? It's equilateral triangle. So you could do stripes going in. Same with this little doobie thing. So I think I'm going to do the cool idea about the, like, do this on each of the sides, right, of the yellow. I think that would look cool. Yes. Okay, so since I have the pink, I'm going to put pink on the yellow. And if I put the pink on the yellow, like make every yellow one the same. Okay, so just for that, some of that consistency. All right, I will make sense once I do this. You guys are like, what the heck? Okay, so I'm going to use this. Okay, so I'm going to do stripes. I'm going to move it over. I'm going to do the opposite side, let it dry a little bit, because I'm going to do this. Each point is going to have the stripe, okay, and they're going to cross, which is okay. It's going to make kind of a cool pattern. Okay, so there's one. It's off a little bit. That's okay. I can also come in with my markers with this if I wanted to draw on it. Could do that. Again, 1,000 things. It's a pattern. Okay, this one. This one. Now if you're, I'm running out of paint, but okay, look how cool that is. Now I'm getting paint on this because it kind of smushed a little. That's okay, because I can either touch it up with a yellow or I might put something in the middle of there. Okay. All right, so let me do all of the yellow. Up the paint, I'm going to stamp these, okay, so that I have a good idea of where to put everything. So I'm going to stamp with, so I'm going to do like every other stamp is going to be this one and every other one's going to be this one, just to make it different. So here's where this stamping platform is going to come in handy. So I'm just going to slip that underneath right here, and it'll provide a hard surface to stamp on. So remember that edge. So there's this lip right here. So you're about, what is that, 1/8 of an inch. You want to line it up. I'm going to guarantee that I'm not going to line it up very good. It's okay. Okay. Ooh, I did a pretty good job. Look at this picture, right? And with my marker, I can draw in the line. Same thing up here. I can draw in this flower and it won't really matter. Here, I can either paint it with the orange and nobody really will know, or something else. All right, so now I have black introduced to this picture. So I want to take some black as well and pop that in here. So I could either do like this little triangle, like I could put this triangle in the middle of this, right? And it will add a pop of black, or pop of black to these four. Yeah, why don't I do that? Or I could do this, but that interrupts the, because those are leaves. Right, I could do that. Nope, I like this one. there's my my triangle thing there. So now I want to add some more black. I kind of want to do this stamp. This is one of my favorite stencils. I think it's like Betsy's, one of her granddaughter Betsy's something or another. I love this stencil. So here's a trick. I am going to use this as a mask. Okay, so it's going to help me guide around these stamps or these images, right? And then if I'm going to do an image like a stencil around it, I can just use that as a mask to help me stay in the lines, because we all know Tanya needs help staying in the lines. So I'm going to do this in, should I do the orange or the pink? What do you think? Orange. I think the pink. Pink is black. Okay, so I'm going to take my black, same technique, a little bit of black paint, my stamping tool, I have it lined up. I said stamping tool, blending tool. Okay. All right, look at that. Bam. So I got a little bit smudged there, but that's okay. What do you think? What do we do now? Okay, so we have pink on the yellow. We don't have anything on the yellow, so I'm wondering, yellow is a little transparent, so I'm wondering if that would pop on there. We could do, so these are flowers. I kind of don't want to do a flower. Could do the squares in the yellow, because there's not a lot of yellow there. Let's try it. And try it. Let's see. I guess it's orange. It'll be just a hint of it, so we can definitely spruce it up a little bit. Add yeah, it's not going to show up a lot. Okay, just a bare hint. You can kind of see it. So there's my background. Okay, so it's a really cool pattern. I could leave it the way it is. I don't have to do anything to it. but I'm gonna, because I like to doodle. So we're gonna play with some penwork, so I'll get some penwork out. But before I do that, I really want to show you, well, first I'm gonna clean off my stencil. I want to show you all of the patterns that I've done. So I did these several times, you know, just playing with it. I think I talked through every single one of them. One of them I forgot to hit record, and I did my background and I didn't hit record, which is, you know, an issue. So that's why I'm doing this one again, because I didn't hit record. So there's one that I did, and you guys are going to see the finished product. So I'm going to get my pens out and play with it. But here is, find another one. I should really mark these. So here is another one that I did. Okay, so same technique. I use 3 colors. So I have the this is periwinkle blue, this is something, this is a teal. Okay, so I did the same thing. I didn't stamp, but I just kind of played with the stencils. So that's another one. So I'll probably put collage on this one, you know, in a saying. So I'll do some ink work on that one. I also did this one. Nope. I also did this one. So this is using black and just 2 colors. So I just used the lime and the teal, or some color of that, and did the stamping again. But this is the one I forgot to hit record on. What's next? I'm going to take, this is my bag of pens, right? I have a white gel pen, I have a black foodball pen, I have a thinner pen, like I have pens of different sizes that I can use. I have a Posca acrylic pen, so it's a thicker kind of white if I want to outline some of these things, so I'll definitely use that here. I have other markers. I have, I'm going to color these in, so I use Diane's, so I have her sprays. This I learned from her. I have her sprays in a water pencil or water brush. So this is a Tim Holtz water brush. I can also order these for you too if you would like. These, it's her same inks, and so I can color that. I have 1,000 markers, so I'm just going to color with markers. Doesn't really matter what I use, but so I'm going to go ahead and use some of this, do the outline on some of the pages. I'll come back and actually kind of walk through one of these, so I'll kind of outline and do it all together so you can see me doodle. But as you see, I have like 5 pages to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and play with that for a little bit, and then I'll be right back. Okay, hi guys, I'm back again. It's been a hot minute, but I finished all the other pages that that I showed you last time. So this is the page we're going to do today. So I'll show you how to do the pen work and everything to add this, just to kind of make this pop. So I'll show you what I've done to the other pages. So this is, I finished this page. So I finished, so I used a marker, so a white gel pen. I also used some of the jelly pens and black pens to do the kind of coloring and the doodling here. If you see here, I added like a little, you know, stitching in the inside. Then I added a collage here of the book here. So I just took a magazine, right? So any fashion magazine, and I cut out, this is 3 different kind of pictures, or 4. So I cut out and made a little collage, and that's it. So I doodled a little edge of the line. So I don't think I'm gonna do anything else to that page just because it's really busy. the other page that I did. So I did this page and I was so excited. I love this color page, and then I forgot to film it. But here, so I just doodled around the flowers, doodled here, used the markers. So these are not markers, these are Diane's inks I put in a water brush. So I have different, this is from Bria Reese. So she has some water pens, has a longer kind of nib than the Tim Holtz. So the Tim Holtz ones work the best, my opinion, because they don't leak. They're a little bit expensive, but I love them. I also followed Diane's, so I copied Diane actually. You can put half ink and like water, so you can dilute the color so you can get a little bit of a different color. So here's my little swatch. So this is after midnight. This is the real color. And then this is the diluted color. So I think I need to add a little bit more water to make it more diluted. But I'm just experimenting. I had some extra pens. So I used the pens. So I have them kind of organized red. So your cool colors versus your warm colors. Use those to color in the stamping, right? And this here, so this is a stencil that I used just as a guide to put those edgings around there. So this is a really busy page. I don't think I'm gonna add any collage to it. I mean, I think I just like it just the way it is. I think it's a really cool pattern. Okay, so we are going to do some of these with our page that we started. Okay, so I have a white like Signo pen. So this is Signo Uniball pen. I like this one. You can also use your gel pens. I have a hybrid pen that's made by Pentel that I've been trying out. Same, just use the white gel pen. You can use your jelly pen, so I may use some jelly roll pens. This is my collection of these kind of jelly roll pens here. There is a set that has a lot of them in it in different sizes, so I'd be happy to order that for you. Or you can get, like I think you can get single of these like at Michael's or something if you have specific colors that you want. So we use those. We will use these water brush markers that I have here. I will use some black pens. You can use any black pen. There's these Sharpies that are like a 0.5 roller pen. I just got these at Target. I found that the Sharpie pens tend to skip. So meh. Here's another jelly roll pen. These are my friend Laura's favorite. They're different nibs, and if you go slow, the color will be better, right? And it doesn't get as clogged here. I think that the key to using the white pens, make sure that all of your pens and inks are dry. So when we color these with the ink pens, Diane's inks are not permanent, right? So you can always reactivate them with water. So if I need to make sure that they're completely dry before I try to draw on them with any pen, because it's still gonna be wet. But if I put a wet pen on the ink, it's going to kind of reactivate that ink. So sometimes the white pens don't work. You can use like acrylic paints if you want, but I'm gonna use some black pens. I also have these, any black pen will be fine. I have these multi-liners. So these are permanent Molotow, I don't know how you say it, Molotow. They come in a set. I gave them a try. They're really good, but they're permanent. So I like them that they're permanent ink once they dry. So there's our black liners. I have some in a bunch of different colors, but really any black pen would be fine. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm gonna start by just making sure that I'm filming, because last time I started and I wasn't filming. I'm also going to make sure, like with this page, I kept with the same tones, right? These are all blues, these are all cool colors. So it makes kind of a tone on tone look. So I could do these opposite. So I could do blue and that would kind of brighten it up a little bit, but I think I like the look of the tone on tone. So Diane, again, she always, when you're doodling, she always recommends like just doing the same thing first. So if I'm gonna highlight these squares, so we did stencils on these squares, you can barely see it with the yellow. If I'm going to draw around those, then I need to do like all of them first, because then you're not like always hunting for the pen and trying to do that. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna hang out and we're going to sketch or doodle. Because I'm using black, I'm going to sketch these out with the black. So I'm not going to go very neat. You could use the stencil again if you're worried about making a perfect square. I've had 4 cups of coffee, so my doodles can be a little wobbly because lots of coffee, but it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Just sketch it. Okay, so that's what we're gonna be doing. All done with my pen work, and now I'm going to use my markers. So I'm going to stick with my red bag, so my warm colors. I'm going to stick with these, and I'm going to color on the inside. So I'm going to go there. I may do something else here. I don't know, we'll see. But that's your basic sketching, and I'm going to do these. Okay, so I picked out these colors: Peony Blush, Squeezed Orange, Lemon Zest, Rose Quartz, Pink Flamingo, and Fiery Sunset. So those are oranges and yellows. So I'm going to color these markers. You can use any markers. It doesn't have to be Diane's. I just happen to have these with her inks, but feel free to use any markers. So I'm going to go ahead and color with these colors and go from there. think it's called Stitches in Time. That may be the name of her first one, but it has these little squares right here. I can't say it very well, but these little squares. So I'm gonna take a black pen in like, I don't know, this is a 0.9 or a 1. This is what I did on the green one. I think it had a really cool effect. So I'm just gonna take these and line up like the middle of the hexagon. I'm gonna line it up in the middle of these squares, and I'm gonna use the stencil to draw with. So I'm just going to draw and color because I don't have to worry about coloring out the lines. Just do a little border here. Okay, so that adds kind of a little stitch border, so it makes it kind of pop out a little bit. So I'm gonna do that all over the rest of the page, and then I think I'll be done, maybe. I might be done, but we'll start with that. Okay. Okay, so I'm done. So the stencil that I used adds some really good framing around that, made it pop a little bit. And I love the watercolor, right? The watercolor effect of that marker. And then the white pen, just any pattern that you want. You could go in and add stamps here if you wanted. So let's review. So here's that green one again. So if you see that same stencil I used here, so my white pen here, and I used some of the white pen here. This is all solid, right? So I colored the background here with another marker. And if you compare to that orange one, right, I kept this white. So it just kind of popped out that white a little bit. I like both of them, so it's just different. The flowers all kind of matched there, but the same stamps I used with that pink and orange one here. Okay, then so that's one, and then the other one is here. So here I didn't do a lot of that pen work, so I did the white around the edges. I did some more sketching on the lines here. I did some stitching with my pen there, and then I added collage. So this seemed more of a muted color, and I didn't use any of the stamps, so it's not as busy. So that's why it gave me room for this collage, because it wasn't too much to add to that. Okay, so there we go. So use your quilting stamps, or stencils and stamps. If you're interested in the stamps, let me know. I would be happy to order some for you. I do have the stencils. So if you're interested in any of those stencils, you can let me know. But yeah, so if you liked my video, give me a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe to my channel. So yay, thanks for joining me. Make art because you're worth it. Okay, bye.